I never imagined that the deepest pain of losing my husband would be eclipsed by something even worse, watching another woman twist his memory into a lie so grotesque that it nearly broke me. My name is Alina, and I lost my husband Jonah 5 months ago to a sudden stroke. He was only 38. We'd been married 5 years, together for 7. The grief still wraps around me like a second skin, suffocating some days, hollow on others. But what I didn't expect, couldn't have prepared for, was the betrayal that followed from a woman I never truly trusted, his so-called best friend, Marjorie. They had known each other since high school, and then spent even more time together in college. Jonah always told me that he enjoyed her company, but that it was strictly platonic. He said she'd hinted at wanting more, joking about being his plan B if she wasn't married by 30. I believed him. I still believe him. After all, when Jonah and I started dating, he slowly began distancing himself from her. But that didn't stop her from making visits to our town, conveniently getting too drunk and crashing on his couch, always reminding me of their shared memories, his favorite coffee, the music he loved, almost like marking her territory. She once even said, "You ruined our marriage pact," half laughing like it was a joke. I smiled then, but I remember the sting. I chalked it up to jealousy and immaturity, and Jonah did too. Over time, he saw less and less of her. He told me he had outgrown her, and frankly, I think he had. Still, she would text him guilt-tripping messages. "You forgot about your old friend," or "So you're just going to pretend I never existed?" He never hid these from me. He didn't have to. I trusted him. Then he died. I held him in my arms when it happened. That moment will haunt me forever. The suddenness, the helplessness, the finality. He had just started talking about IVF with me, hopeful even though we'd been trying for 2 years. He was ready to be a father. We both were. That's the version of Jonah I remember. A man who wanted a family with me, who made me feel like I was enough even when I felt broken. In the weeks after his death, I was barely functioning. I couldn't even begin to plan a memorial. The grief made it hard to breathe, let alone think. I wanted to wait a bit, allow Jonah's family time to travel, and give myself the emotional bandwidth to do it right. I finally planned a service to happen at the end of the month. Then, 2 weeks before it, I got an email from Marjorie. It was sent to 60 people, including Jonah's family, announcing her memorial for Jonah, being held in his hometown church, a day before mine. She didn't call, didn't check in, just hijacked the entire process and made herself the grieving widow in charge. I called her, trying to be civil despite the rage boiling beneath my skin. She claimed she stepped in because I wasn't willing to honor Jonah fast enough. I told her in no uncertain terms that this wasn't her call to make. Asked her to at least mention the real memorial on her invite. She agreed, but only to ignore me later. I found out from Jonah's cousin that she'd blocked me on Facebook and made her event look like the official memorial. Guests were confused, unsure where to go or which day was the real goodbye. I was exhausted, emotionally, mentally. I posted on my wall to clarify details, and most people understood. But the damage was done. Jonah's memory was being weaponized. And then things escalated. Marjorie began telling people that Jonah had been planning to leave me because I couldn't conceive. She claimed we had even asked her to carry a baby for us. Complete lies. Then she claimed Jonah and she were having an affair and that she was pregnant with his baby. My heart broke all over again. I was devastated, angry, confused. A family friend sent me a screenshot of her Instagram. She'd photoshopped Jonah's face onto a shirtless man, captioned, "Can't wait for our baby to arrive. Miss you, my love." I stared at it, stunned. This wasn't grief. This was delusion. And yet, people, strangers, even a few acquaintances, were congratulating her. I felt sick. I couldn't eat, could barely sleep. I started having panic attacks. I had already lost Jonah. Now I felt like I was losing his memory too. I reached out to the pastor of the hometown church. He was kind and deeply apologetic. He told me he'd been trying to contact me. Jonah's great, and had given him my number. Marjorie had told him that Jonah and I were separated, and that I didn't want anything to do with the memorial. When he found out the truth, He was horrified. He immediately disinvited her from participating in the service. She'd apparently apologized to him, said she was sorry for lying, and asked to speak with me. I declined. I couldn't risk more manipulation. We ended up having 2 beautiful services, one at Jonah's childhood church and another non-religious one that I planned. Friends and family showed up to honor Jonah. They shared stories I had never heard, things that made me laugh until I cried. For a moment, I felt connected to him again. Marjorie did show up at the first service, but the pastor gently asked her to leave. She didn't cause a scene, which honestly surprised me. I thought that would be the end of it. I wanted it to be. But grief has no clean edges, and neither, it seems, did Marjorie. For months later, she was back on social media, still pushing the narrative that Jonah was her man, still claiming she was carrying his baby. She had photoshopped more images of Jonah into staged couple shots. I had since deleted my own social media, but my cousin kept me in the loop. One day, Marjorie's own brother, bless him, commented publicly, "WTF, Marjorie? Jonah told me 2 weeks before he died that he was trying for a baby with Alina. You were just friends. This is messed up." The post was deleted hours later. I couldn't take it anymore. The lies, the manipulation, the character assassination, it all became too much. And then it got worse. At 3 a.m., she showed up at my house, screaming, demanding I come outside, accusing me of ruining her relationship with Jonah. She looked wild, unhinged. I called the police and her brother. When the officers arrived, she shoved one of them. They arrested her on the spot. Her brother just stood there, heartbroken, apologizing to me over and over again. She screamed that they were hurting her baby by handcuffing her. Her brother later told me that she isn't pregnant. Never was. He confronted her again, and the timeline she gave made no sense. Jonah and I were on vacation during the supposed conception. He said she hadn't been taking her medication for years and had been spiraling for a long time. She was eventually placed under psychiatric evaluation. I didn't press charges. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. He also made a public post, clarifying everything, that Marjorie had been struggling, that she fabricated the pregnancy and affair, and that Jonah had loved me. I was grateful, but the damage had left a scar. So, I made a choice. I needed to start over. I've been applying for jobs out of state, maybe even out of the country. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I do know this. Jonah would want me to live, to heal, to find something beautiful again. As for Marjorie, I hope she gets help. I really do. But more than anything, I hope Jonah knows that I never let anyone rewrite his story. Not while I still had breath in my body. Thank you for watching our video on Kindle Stories. If you've ever had to defend someone's memory or fight through grief in a way you didn't expect, please share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next deeply moving story. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.